With the boating season coming up, I've decided to make a Rc Jetboat to use in local streams and rivers. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I did that and why I think everyone should own one of these. Let's dive straight into this video. Now before we actually start this video, I want to real quick mention that this video does include a lot of JB Weld. I love the product that they make. It just works. It works really well. Not sponsored, but I will be mentioning them a lot throughout this video. This entire boat is made out of metal basically, so I just chose some very thin metal so that the weight wasn't too much. Just very cheap metal, and then I cut it with some snippers here. So a large portion of this jet boat idea comes from the seemingly propless intake. So the jet intake basically is sucking water in the bottom, and it makes it so that rocks and things aren't going to get in the way. So you can see the water goes in the bottom there, and then our propeller is in the middle there, so that's going to blow the water out the back of the boat. That's basically the whole idea. The boat is basically built around this. So you can see the shaft goes straight through there to the propeller, and then the propeller is basically thrusting all of that water that is sucked in out the back of the boat, creating forward propulsion. It's not that complex, and the motor is mounted right there, and this is amazing because I go over rocks, I go over all kinds of different things. I can go and ram it into the beach, and there's not a propeller getting all beat up at the back of the boat there. Now this was the part that I chose. Although I could have modeled it on Autodesk and had it 3D printed, I decided against that and just went for a cheaper route where I knew it was going to work and just hope for the best in the cheap plastic. Now there was one part that I didn't like, that metal connector between the motor and the outdrive. I made a new one out of plastic because the metal one was constantly stripping the screws, and I tried to make new ones and it just didn't work, so I made a plastic one out of some Traxxas plastic, and it seemed to work very well to this point. Now for the electronics on this boat, I simply took some of the electronics from my old Hypergo RC buggy that I had, and they seemed to work pretty good. And then back corner there, you'll see my servo, which is sealed in there with some JB Weld and sheet metal, so that's not going anywhere. And then, of course, because I wasn't willing to put the battery in the front of the boat for fear of the intake not being under the water fully, I decided to put the battery on one side and some car tire weights on the other side. And this seems to work pretty well, and the intake is almost always underwater unless I'm going off something. And then to wrap up the interior there, I've put some foam in the front in case the boat ever sinks, and it'll give it a little bit of buoyancy. And now one thing that I would like to showcase real quick before we start ripping this thing in the river is this little hatch which I've made. It's just a piece of foam on there. It's got some Velcro on either side, and it's got some Traxxas screws going through there to hold that piece of foam onto the metal. It's made out of the same sort of flexible metal as the rest of the boat is made out of, and it's gone fully submerged a few times, and I've never gotten much water into the cabin, so it's been pretty good. It never falls off and keeps the water out. And now one thing that I would like to address real quick as well is how do I access the electronics in my boat? This problem was not that difficult to resolve, but it was something that had to be fixed because other than the main hatch, there's no way of accessing anything else. And for that motor mount, I couldn't get those screws. So what I've done is I've drilled a hole in the back here, and then in that hole I've placed a Traxxas differential cover with the little rubber piece there, and no water gets in, and that's exactly what I need it to do. So it's working great so far, and I haven't had any problems. I think it's high time we get this boat in the water and see how it performs against a little bit of a current. well, this is a big bummer. We went over the rocks backwards there by accident, and as usually does, something broke. We lost our piece on the front there, and that's gonna be kind of annoying going off the rapids because it's not gonna spray off to the side, right? It's gonna go straight here. So let's hope that that'll hold. I know you guys will forgive me. We'll get on the next few videos, all right?